isn't functioning. Democracy is not functioning. Let's take a listen to this video.
You can have a system that nobody actually supports except the people directly benefiting from it. This is the main thing I've learned in the past 5 years that I'm 54, I've lived in this country my whole life, and because I, unlike everyone else in Washington, actually kind of believed in the basic premise of democracy, which is the majority rules. That's the most basic fact of democracy. The people run their own government. If you get a majority of people to vote for something, that's now the law. And that's totally untrue. You can put it in a ballot referendum, some judge will overturn it. Well, what about democracy? You can spend billions of dollars on a foreign policy theory that nobody actually supports. Doesn't matter. In the end, most governments are run by a small group of people for their own benefit without reference to what the majority wants. And I hate to believe that that's true in this country, but all the evidence suggests that it is. In fact, it's provable. You know how you prove it? Public opinion polling. Take a look at the latest Gallup poll. Pick a poll. What are the top 10 issues for people in the United States? And then compare those to the priorities of your leaders. So people are leaving Michigan because it's very hard to make a living here, and you're constantly hassled by a government that never stops growing and that is leeching off an economy that hasn't grown in decades, okay? That's the truth. Take a look at the priorities of the low IQ lunatic who's running your state, Gretchen Whitmer, who deserves zero respect, no respect. Her priorities are what? Putting you in jail if you, quote, misgender somebody? What percentage of the population of the state of Michigan, even southeastern Michigan, is on board with that as a top concern? It's like roughly around 0.1%, okay, in that range. The things that people care about, Gretchen Whitmer couldn't care less about. Because democracy isn't functioning. If democracy was functioning in America, in Michigan, in California, the District of Columbia where I live, the state of Maine, the state of Texas, how many Texans do you think are all on board with letting 7 million people cross into their state illegally? What percentage? Zero. Zero. I don't care what your race or national origin, nobody is for that. That's insane. Has the governor of Texas done anything meaningful to stop that? No. The Republican governor? He's got a National Guard. He's the commander-in-chief of the National Guard, and it's Texas, so they're all large. And they have double-stack magazines in their sidearms. You think they couldn't stop that in a week if they, of course. Just assemble along the border. We're not doing this. No, he refuses to do that. He won't do it. And it's not like no one suggested. I've suggested to him 3 times, including in private at a cocktail party in Dallas last year. What are you doing, man? Don't you have a National Guard? Why don't you seal the border? Oh, it's very complicated. No, it's not. No, it's not. If someone's trying to break into my house, it's not complicated to repel the person. Do you have a firearm or don't you? Are you willing to defend your house and your children, or aren't you? Well, it's more complicated. That really, tell me how. Speak slowly so I can understand. It's not more complicated than that. It's more dishonest than that. You're lying to me. You don't want to do it because your donors don't want you to do it. It's that simple. Greg Abbott. Liar. Liar. And worse than liar, betrayer of your own people. That's what that is. I was polite at the cocktail party, so I didn't say any of that, but I fumed internally like an Episcopalian. I thought those things. But the point is, if you assume that just because everybody wants something, you're going to get it, think again, pal. It's very likely that, in fact, you won't get anything that you want. You will just pay for what a small group of other people want. That's the way it works. Boo! Boo is right. Boo is right. It's not just frustrating, it's a betrayal of the core promise of the country, which is the people rule. That's a criminal act. That is a criminal act. Like, just to put this in context, it's not just like you have boutique, weird right-wing views and that's how they want you to feel. Like, oh, you're an extremist. Really? I'm an extremist? I'm the one who let 7 million people into our country illegally, whose names we don't know?
That's called common sense. Tucker Carlson is full of that. Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's wrong. I don't think it's wrong. There are certain policies in place that are very much undemocratic, if we may use that term. It seems like that term has been abused now. But yeah, I mean, talking about the border in itself is just, I think that's why New York is coming to a rude awakening. I don't know if that's going to change anything, but they're all coming to a rude awakening of the reality of why open border policies can't work, doesn't work. And I don't know. It seems like Governor Eric Adams is just having a fit, talking a whole lot. But the very same policies that causes this to happen are the things that he's ignoring. You're ignoring the very thing that's causing it to happen.
110,000 migrants. We have to feed, clothe, house, educate the children, wash their laundry sheets, give them everything they need, health care. And this team here, we stated, let's do everything possible before we have to push it out into neighborhoods and communities. Month after month, I stood up and I said, this is going to come to a neighborhood near you. Well, we're here. We're here. We're getting no support on this national crisis, and we're receiving no support. And let me tell you something, New Yorkers. Never in my life have I had a problem that I did not see an ending to. I don't see an ending to this. I don't see an ending to this. This issue will destroy New York City. Destroy New York City. We're getting 10,000 migrants a month. One time we were just getting Venezuela. Now we're getting Ecuador. Now we're getting Russian-speaking coming through Mexico. Now we're getting Western Africa. Now we're getting people from all over the globe have made their minds up that they're going to come through the southern part of the border and come into New York City. And everyone is saying it's New York City's problem. Every community in this city is going to be impacted. We got a $12 billion deficit that we're going to have to cut. Every service in this city is going to be impacted.
Come on, man. Your policies have caused this, and you got to stop being. That's the thing I have with these people. It's just the level of dishonesty is just oozing from the screen. It's just that you ran saying you were gonna be a sanctuary city under Eric Adams. This is the result of sanctuary cities. Now you're going to have to live up to the standard of what you've set up. It's just what you have to do. Crying wolf right now is not helping anybody. It's unfair to the people in New York City. They deserve better than that. But they got to vote differently as well. They have to vote differently. This is why you have to be an informed voter. You can't just go with skin color. Go with pretty talk. Democrats do a whole lot of pretty talk. But when it comes to their policies and execution, they are horrible. That's why I don't know. Somebody said in the comment, I don't know how a Christian, he said, I don't understand how any person of God will be for what the New Democratic Party stand for. Is solely against what God says. God's word says. I know. It's just the Democratic Party has become something completely different. I think somewhere during the George Floyd protests and the social justice, those videos about the few blacks, I say few blacks because it was only about 16 at one point. One was 26. The way the media magnified what happened during those supposed black people being shot by police and everything, the way it was talked about, and by the way, all people get shot by police. White, Hispanics get shots by police as well. They get shot by police. Blacks also get shot by police. I will say to a different degree and level. When you do the research and look at the numbers, you will learn very quickly that the media has propagandized this whole thing. And I think during that time, something happened to the Democratic Party. They've gone completely woke and they've lost their minds. They really lost their minds and they become something that they were not. I think they always had evil ways, I'm sure. When you look at how the Jim Crow laws and everything and how they supported the KKK and everything. And they say, well, there was a party switch. No, there never was a party switch. That was a lie. Anyway, I think what happened during that time, something happened to the Democratic Party, and they've never been the same ever since. That's what happened. They've completely gone berserk, and this is the result of what we're seeing right now. Yeah. So you say if you create content on X, formerly known as Twitter, can get you monetized. Okay, I would like to know how that goes. I need to look it up. So I'm gonna see if I could find out the steps it will take, because I have a lot of content here. If you're looking for content, listen, we got plenty of that here. Plenty of that. Extremely common sense. Exactly. Yeah, he was all for sanctuary cities. All for sanctuary. I think we have a video of him saying exactly that. Even when Governor Abbott started sending some of the migrants there, we have a video of him saying exactly that. Let's keep going.
So as you ask me a question about migrants, tell me what role you played. How many of you organized to stop what they're doing to us? How many of you were part of the movement to say, we're seeing what this mayor is trying to do, and they're destroying New York City? It's going to come to your neighborhoods. All of us are going to be impacted by this. I said it last year when we had 15,000, and I'm telling you now with 110,000. The city we knew, we're about to lose. And we're all in this together, all of us. Staten Island saying, send them out to Manhattan. Manhattan is saying, send them out to Queens. Queens is saying, send them out to Brooklyn. No, that's not the game we can play. As the mayor of the city of New York, I don't, weigh into immigration issues, border issues. I have to provide services for families that are here, and that's what we're going to do. And that's what our responsibility as a city. I'm proud that this is a right to shelter state, and we're going to continue to do that. This is horrific when you think about what the governor is doing, the governor of Texas, after a month of traveling across the border, placing on the bus with no direction to come here to New York. And New York is a city that has always represented the democratic values and the values of our city, of showing our compassion. And that's what we're doing today. We need to ensure that they receive.
Yo, sure. I'm reading your comment here, and you got me laughing and choking. Stop. She said, "Oh, you are something else, man." She said, "Somebody need to be impeached." Will Smith style. Stop. Will Smith made a name for himself with that. Chris Rock. Oh man, yeah, it's common sense, man. It's common sense. That's the problem, and I think part of the issue they have here is they lack common sense. That's why you gotta give. I think somebody says the best way to red pill a liberal is to give them what they want. The best way to red pill a Democrat is to give them what they want. You want it to be a sanctuary city? Well, here you are, buddy. How does that look? I'm sympathizing with people because I understand the people in New York and the families and the children. It's not fair to them. But we have to deal with the head, because this is the head of the system right here. These are the people who are making the decision at the top, right? And these are the people responsible for this. Okay, the head is responsible for what happens to the body. So the people in New York are going through this because of thinking like yours. Your thinking has to change. Your policies have to change. Your laws have to change. And you just got to be real. You got to know this is not working. It's not working because it's not good. It's just not good.
And the values of our city, of showing our compassion. And that's what we're doing today. We need to ensure that they receive health care, that they receive protection, that we make sure that ICE is never in a position to partner with the police department and harm them in any way. But we also need to make sure that we treat them the dignity and respect that they deserve. I need your help to say, fix this mess at the border, that we don't have people coming in our community.
Let me
finish, and I'm gonna let you
Not in the neighborhood, with children and seniors.
I'm gonna finish.
Excuse me, Mr. Mayor, I'm sorry.
One at a time. I'm gonna be spoken over. I'm gonna be yelled at. Every neighborhood should have to go through this. I have almost 100,000 people
Yeah.
that has been dropped in my city.
Don't take
That
them.
the law is saying this is what you have to do, Eric. I called on the White House. I'm calling on the state. This should not be happening to New York City.
People are devastated by the idea of bringing up.
Why shouldn't this be happening to New York City? It's been happening to Republican-run states for such a long time. And even though they are not remotely close to being sanctuary cities, they say they don't want the illegals. They want things to be done right. You guys never had an issue with that. And they only sent a small percentage to you. And you're having to mail down. This is what red state has been going through. This is what, come on, man. Can you be real?
1,000 single able-bodied migrants right into our neighborhood with no curfew. They're unvetted. What diseases do they have? Who are they? What I need you to do as one of your constituents is send them back.
Yes.
Send them back to Washington, D.C. Send them back to Mexico.
If I were a local city does not have the authority to deport people. If I were to get what you said, I would be breaking the law. I could be sanctioned by the federal government that would take away dollars from the city. So if we're going to come up with a solution...
Please, give us a break, bro. Give us a break. You serious?
Let's come up with one that doesn't break the law to help us fix this problem.
Mr. Mayor, what about Rikers Island? There are abandoned buildings there. They could house 20, 30,000, but not at Creedmoor, not in our neighborhood.
In a unanimous vote, the LA City Council passed a motion requesting the city attorney to draft a sanctuary city ordinance. The proposal would put down in law existing policies which prohibit any city resources, property, or personnel from being used for any federal immigration enforcement.
Oh, man. I mean, this is what you get. You get what you vote for. It's sad. It's sad. I mean, it's... Oh, man. The solution is very simple. Send them back. Send them back, man. Because it's not working. It's not working. But... what are you going to do? This is your politics. Your politics has... You see, action have consequences, man. Ideas have consequences. These are the consequences of bad ideas, bad policies that has been formulated that are now weighing on the people in the system. That's just what it is. You know, I don't think the illegals deserve this either. I think they deserve better. I think they do. They deserve better in their own home. In their own home. Like, the amount of money being spent having them here, is best we took some of that money and send it to their politicians in their own home. And I know that's a wild thing that I'm suggesting here, but if you think about it, at least they're in a place where they're used to. At least they're in their own home. It's best you send security if that's the problem. They're looking for asylum. It's best you send help in these areas, which I know Joe Biden is doing good enough job throwing money all over Ukraine, which is another discussion in itself. But I'm just saying, if you love the illegals so much, and you want to see them doing well, why don't you take care of them in their own home? Right? But that won't work because they're not paying taxes, they're not helping your system. I can already see this is not going to work. That's just a crazy suggestion. But at least they're not here weighing on your city and frustrating the people. I don't know, man. I don't know what to do when it comes to this. I don't have a solution for it. All that I know is they just need to go back home. It's that simple. Build a wall. Donald Trump's language, he was right again. Build the wall. Anyway, friends, we got to move on. You say you already do that. Yeah, we already do that, right? You reap what you sow. You reap what you sow. That's scripture. You reap what you sow. If you sow to the flesh, you will reap from the flesh. Yeah, that's kind of where we are. These are the consequences of the sowing of bad ideas and policies. From, you know, these politicians are crazy, man. They're crazy. Anyway,